America's trade war with China was supposed to make the United States stronger. Instead, it exposed deep vulnerabilities, triggered global retaliation, and handed Beijing new leverage over critical supply chains. Nobel laureate Joseph Stiglitz calls this amateur hour, and the consequences could reshape the global economy. The original plan was classic divide and conquer. Target weaker countries first, set a precedent of capitulation, and then confront China from a position of strength. But Beijing refused to play along. Unlike other nations, China met U.S. tariffs with tough retaliation. Armed with dominance in minerals, rare earths, and manufacturing capacity, China holds cards the U.S. can't easily match. Rare earths, essential for everything from fighter jets to smartphones, remain under Beijing's control, with 70% of global extraction and 90% of processing centered in China. Attempts to replicate these supply chains in America would take years and require skills and infrastructure that are currently lacking. Meanwhile, China's logistics and engineering edge keeps modern manufacturing firmly in its grasp. The United States is at a disadvantage on both supply and demand. While Washington threatens tariffs, China can expand domestic production and tap into global markets, reducing reliance on U.S. consumers. America accounts for just 20% of global GDP, and China's ability to boost internal demand means U.S. threats carry less weight than before. Economists agree, trade deficits aren't determined by tariffs, but by macroeconomic forces like savings and investment rates. With unfunded tax cuts and rising deficits, exchange rates will adjust, offsetting any tariff effects and likely pushing the trade deficit even higher. Tariffs were billed as a way to revive American industry and fill government coffers, but the reality is more complicated and more costly. Trump's tariffs are projected to raise $2 trillion in revenue over the next decade, but at a steep price, a 0.8% reduction in U.S. GDP and an average tax increase of $1,183 per household in 2025. Retaliation from China, Canada, and the EU now affects $330 billion in U.S. exports, further reducing GDP and costing tens of thousands of jobs. The tariffs hit nearly three-quarters of U.S. goods imports, raising prices for consumers and businesses alike. The economic fallout extends beyond lost jobs and higher prices. Experts warn that uncertainty from rapidly changing tariff policies could trigger stagflation, a toxic mix of inflation and stagnant growth. Businesses hesitate to invest or hire amid shifting trade rules, and any supply chain disruption could lead to sharp price hikes, as seen in the pandemic's aftermath. Stiglitz warns that the U.S. risks not just economic pain, but weakened public programs and deeper global instability. The trade war was supposed to weaken China. Instead, it has accelerated Beijing's efforts to innovate, dominate new technologies, and reduce dependence on the United States. China's refusal to back down has only strengthened its resolve to lead in fields like green tech and advanced manufacturing. The country is leveraging its control over rare earths and supply chains to send a clear message. The United States cannot easily decouple or dictate terms. Meanwhile, the U.S. faces the risk of violating international trade law, undermining the rules-based order it once championed. Special deals and managed trade agreements, like those with the United Kingdom, stand in stark contrast to the most favored nation principle that underpins the World Trade Organization. Stiglitz's analysis is clear. Economic strength comes from structural stability, multilateral cooperation, and respect for the long game, not from loud deals or tariff threats. Strip those away, and America isn't just fighting China, it's fighting itself. The trade war's legacy is a cautionary tale. Tariffs and brinkmanship may grab headlines, but they leave lasting scars on the economy, global alliances, and America's own institutions. To thrive in a complex world, the U.S. must rebuild trust, invest in innovation, and cooperate with allies. Because in the end, economic power is about more than just playing hardball.